What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Real Fanatics. I am your host, Ferran. Here again with my man Vito. And today is the moment y'all have been waiting for. We are reviewing I want to say season finale, but possibly series finale also of Penguin episode
We
8.
found out soon enough.
Yeah, we'll find out if we get another season soon enough. But there was a lot to unpack in this episode. Some theories of mine got violently debunked. Oz continued to show you how terrible of a person he is. There were some emotional
Who he
stakes.
is.
There were some emotional stakes. There was some plot twists. There was a lot that happened in this one episode. And before we even get too deep into it, I just want to give Warner Brothers and DC their flowers for a phenomenal season of television, and exceeding, I think, a lot of people's expectations coming into this show. I think a lot of people were, when the show was announced following the success of the Batman, I think a lot of people were just kind of assuming like, oh, they're just trying to cash grab or capitalize on the success of the Batman. We don't really need this show. Why are we focusing on Penguin? And this show basically was Warner Brothers telling us, shut the hell up, we know what we're doing. And from now on, anything Matt Reeves wants to give me out of this Batman universe, I am willing to take and accept. If this is the level of storytelling we're going to get, I just got to say slow clap to the Penguin for 8 episodes of great television. And with that being said, Vito, I'll give you the floor to give some of your initial thoughts on episode 8.
So I'm gonna piggyback off of you before I give my thoughts on the giving them their flowers on this, because we've seen what Warner Brothers and DC have done in the past with these extended universes. The animated universes are a lot better, um, but they don't have to spend as much money um, to get the CGI, all the filming to do. It's a lot. I don't want to say it's easier, because animation is not easy, but it's a lot cheaper. It's easier for them to do some certain things. It's like, again, power scaling. We're not seeing Superman fly around the world, in a live action, but you can see that multiple times in an animated show or movie. You can see them in space. You see all sorts of shit that you're not going to see on in live action. Um, but I think, like you said, this gives me hope for a cinematic universe that Warner Brothers is putting together. Again, we've had the back and forth about thinking, right now there's supposed to be another Batman to do the new DCU with that Superman. Again, I'm still hoping that they bridge these at some point. But we've both had thoughts on how would they do that, because he's not the agile Batman that you would see
He's
in
straight
a
hands.
yeah straight hands.
hands.
But I think we need to remember that, again, the thing that works on their side with this is this is year 2.
Yeah.
All right, and they don't say what part of year 2 he's in. He's done his
Yeah.
first year. This is year 2. We don't know if he's at the beginning or the end of his second year of Batman. We've gone back and so give them their flowers on that. Love to see what they're gonna do. I was one of those people, didn't want to see it. Didn't make sense at all. Why are we getting a fucking Penguin show? Spend that money on giving us something else. It's the DC roster is too large to be focusing on the same characters: Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. We've had fucking 13 Batman movies, since the 90s.
Probably,
it might hit a little more than that, but live action, we probably had, you got Robert Pattinson, Kristen Bell, George Clooney, Val Kilmer, Michael Keaton. Ben Affleck, was that 7? And then not including the original Batman, where again it was a little more campy, a little more comical than anything. But
Wally West, I believe.
Did you say Wally West? Oh, that was the actor.
Yeah, that's the actor's name. Yeah.
No. It's Brian something, I think.
Okay, where did I get Wally West from?
The Flash, nigga.
Oh, duh. I was like, ignore me, y'all.
That's why I'm like, hold on.
I just got done working a very long shift. My brain's not working right now. You are correct. Yes.
So I was hoping, that they would work on that and they would give us some other things,
Yeah.
expand that. Even if they weren't going to work on it as a cinematic universe, I was hoping that we would get those other heroes. With that being said, The Penguin was a great show. It started good, it started fast, and it ended the same way. Every episode, had something going on. Like you again, we talked about it in other shows where um these two episodes felt like it was a lot going on, but the next episode felt like why are we here? How much storytelling do you need to push your storyline forward, And they had the perfect mix of storytelling, action, or not even just action, just suspense of something happening to push this story forward. Again, Oz, we both made predictions about what was going to happen. We've gone back and forth about what was going to happen to Vic at the end of this. Hold on one second. Okay, never mind. We've had predictions about what was going to happen to Vic, and then we did for shows. Was it shows or movies? We said we was going to give spoilers.
Oh no, we're giving spoilers here for sure.
Okay.
Because I need to talk about what I want to talk about.
We need to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
Oz is a shitty character.
Terrible person.
Again, we talked about this last week. Colin Farrell said, "Hey, y'all gonna hate him. Y'all gonna hate him." We knew we were gonna hate Oz. And again, we had predictions on what he was gonna do. We said, "Hey, he's gonna finish the job with Vic. Hey, Vic's gonna take over. Vic's gonna do something where he's gonna become a power player. Vic's gonna do this. Penguin's gonna do this. He's gonna be his underboss." And again, the way that he operated throughout the show, you could honestly believe any of those positions was going to happen or any of those takes were going to happen. And, true to him being who he is, what happened happened. If you ain't watched it yet, then you shouldn't be watching this. But he killed Vic.
You don't. There you go. I was about to get a warning, but there you go. Yeah,
And Vic is all in now. He was all in,
fully committed.
And I love how that last scene with Sophia and Penguin and his mother, how that went down. Because I think that is what pushed him over the edge for him to make the decision that he made.
Yeah,
and again,
it definitely was.
Vic helped Penguin secure his spot when he made that passionate plea for help for Penguin in the middle of the thing, at the street watching the explosion. That's when it happened. And and I know we didn't talk about it on camera, but I told you, I said, hey, the anybody that don't say yes to Penguin's offer is going to take over. They're gonna take over from their boss. And sure enough,
you did predict that. You did predict that for sure.
I didn't think they were going to kill everybody. I didn't think all the bosses were going to die. And I said it again. I said, I don't remember the guy's name, the triad underboss.
Yeah.
But
I don't recall the character's name either, but yeah.
But I said, hey man, he looking like he really want Oz to work out. He want this to work out, which is crazy because again, he wanted to kill Oz when we first got introduced to him in this series. Yeah. Oz owed him some money or something. So Oz is Oz is a con man. All right,
master manipulator.
In this series, he is a con man. Again, remember, he's been all of these things. He's been a con man. He's been I don't want to say upstanding guy, but he's been a man of his word before in the comics. So I love to see when we get portrayals that we don't usually see, and some of those Batman comics, Cobblepot comes from old money, so it's good to see this where you see, that kind of grungy story where he's starting from the bottom, which the first time I seen it was in Gotham. where he started from the bottom. He was with his mom, all this good stuff, and
Yeah.
he was really dependent of his mother. Um, you already know, as a whole, I like to give my review up front, or my rating up front, because I've forgotten things that I really want to talk about when it happened, but I'll bring it back up when you start going. Um, I'm gonna give this episode. I'm gonna give this episode a 9.5. I'm gonna give the series as a whole. I'm gonna give the series as a whole an 8.5. Again, great series, loved it. There were some things that could have been stronger. There were some things I personally would have wanted differently. But it is what it is. Great show. Um, I liked what Warner Brothers and DC did here, and I was one of those people that was skeptical of it, didn't want it. Um, I am hoping that this leads to a further storyline of the next Batman movie, which
Mhm.
again we'll see. There's been speculations about that. We talked about that as well. So if it that'll be my only, if that doesn't happen, my rating will drop. And we will come back in 2026 and I'll
Yeah,
say
be like, hey,
the Penguin is not a fucking 8.5. That shit is a 6.
8.5 to a 6 is nuts.
Finish the story, man. Got to finish the story.
Yeah. Man, this last episode was everything I could have possibly wanted out of the finale of this season. The emotional stakes were there between Oz and his mother, and kind of seeing the truth really come out, even though like it was something Sophia said in that scene that I thought was very profound about
Yeah.
their relationship, is both of y'all know the truth in the back of your heads, but you're so
Nobody
afraid
said.
to actually speak on it. And it within a scene, this scene is supposed to be a torture scene.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a torture scene to torture Oz physically and psychologically. And while doing that, it is also a scene in tandem to really bring ahead the tension between Oz and his mom that
Mm-hmm.
has really been, that you didn't really realize was there until you realized what Oz did to his brothers, and you were just kind of waiting for that to come to a head. And this scene kind of worked both in tandem of Sophia finally getting her gratification of seeing Oz suffer, while also Oz kind of having to fully come to terms with what he did and realizing that his mother's known this entire time, realizing that his mother was about to have him killed at one point. Yeah, that she
So
views him as the devil. Like there's so much that came out in that scene.
I kind of want to back up a little bit for that, okay?
Okay.
Because the first thing I seen when that scene happened, I said, "Why is the other actor not here? They play this young mother. Why is she not here?" And then it hit me. This isn't
Yeah.
a flashback.
Yeah.
This is Dr. Rush's treatment.
Yeah.
He's trying to get her to open up, and this is
Yeah.
how he's doing it. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a flashback. She was reliving these things.
Yeah.
Now, what I hated that, but I did want to talk about that,
Yeah.
because once I figured it out, I'm like, shit, that's
Yeah.
that's honestly, like, directing wise, that shit was amazing to me,
They
because
did that very well.
we seen a younger her. We
Mhm.
seen how it's supposed to look. And then now we're seeing her as she is,
Mhm.
reliving it.
Yeah.
But what you said was Oz admitting to it. And Oz
Fair.
never,
He technically
again,
didn't admit to it, but it
and,
was, yeah, you're right. You're
and
right.
that's the craziest part, because
He actually was about to let her, he was going to let Sophia like cut his mom's, I think it was like her
yeah.
pinky or her thumb off. Like he was going to let her cut it off because he
So-
really actually, you're right. He didn't actually want to fully admit it. He had to come to terms with it. Let me say that when he realized that she already knew.
He's a motherfucker that will follow through with the lie.
Yes.
And it was good
To the
because
grave.
when we watched that flashback, we watched the flashback, we seen through his eyes.
Mhm.
We seen what he wanted us to see.
Yeah.
Or what he would have seen, because again, it's his story.
Yeah.
When we watched the best way to say it is I'm gonna say either therapy session or the playback. I'm gonna say the playback. We seen it through her eyes. We seen what she seen. We seen her finding out that he was there. We seen her getting information and her getting actually options to do it. But again, This motherfucker is a con man. Even as a child, that nigga said exactly what she needed. He didn't know what was gonna happen to him. He didn't
Yeah.
know that he was about to die. But he said exactly what she needed to hear for him
For
not
her
to
to
die.
rethink it. Yeah.
For her
And
to
that's so
rethink it and him
crazy.
not to die. He
Like,
said, and again his little accent, Ma, I'm gonna
yeah.
take care of you, Ma. He's like,
Bro, that shit was so funny. I ain't gonna lie. Child Oz speaking is by far the most hilarious thing in this show. It was very hard to take him serious.
man.
But it was, to your point though, because you're right. I think one of the key things from that scene, and I'm glad you kind of made me kind of correct my words a little bit. You're right. He technically never admitted to it. He just had to come to terms with it and realize, like, oh, I have nothing else but the truth right now because everyone else already knows it. So I can't lie my way out of this anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, but to your point, during that scene, he was just gonna let Sophia continue to torture his mom and just not say shit and just continue to play dumb, which says a lot about his character in the sense that even with his mother, who's supposed to be the one character he truly loves or truly has an affinity for, even in a situation where he could save her, he's still at the end of the day going to choose himself and choose his own best interest.
You know what though?
That says a lot about him as a character.
I want to argue that because I don't want to say he so he did choose himself, but I don't want to say that was his way of thinking it because he still don't know that she know.
Yeah.
So he, in a way, he's trying to protect her, but also, my man's, they about to slice her up.
Yeah, you're actually not trying to protect her at all at that point.
But so you know what? I'm sorry, I'm arguing with you, but as I'm saying that, I'm coming to the realization that he is protecting himself because the only thing he values is his relationship with his mother.
Yeah,
and they don't say it, but we're thinking. But my thinking is, if he knows that his mother knows what he did, she's not going to want to have a relationship with him anymore.
Yeah, he knows he'll lose that.
He knows he'll lose her again. That's his person. That's the only person that he's 100% try to protect up until that point.
I was saying up until that point, but you're right.
Up until that point, that's who he tried to protect. That's who he told. That's who he was. I'm not gonna say completely honest.
He's not completely honest with anyone.
she had to bring it out of him. He would say something to her. She say, "Come on, don't lie to me. Don't do this. Don't do that." And he would be honest with her. Then he would tell her the truth, or he would tell her most of the truth. He'd tell her half truth. Yeah. So he was the most honest with her. And while we're on the subject of his mother, I want to get you back to where you're at. I don't want you to forget where you're talking about. We were talking about Oz and Sophia, but I thought he was going to kill Eve. Is her name Eve? Her name's Eve, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, at the end when she was.
I thought he was going to kill her.
I'm surprised he didn't, honestly, because, and I'm gonna get back to Sophia eventually, but I thought that scene was very powerful actually at the end. And we're jumping a little bit, but I think this is very key. This is actually a very key scene. You're good. That is a key scene, and it actually does tie back a little bit to what we were talking about his mother as a character, with how strong the relationship with his mother is, and how much he needs that. I think to keep going, because even with his mom in the state that she was in, so at the scene with him, Sophia, and his mom suffers a stroke just from the weight of having that conversation. And then, her and Oz are having the back and forth. She tells Oz how she really feels about him. Fully tells him, I hate you. I've always hated you. I wish you were dead. All those things.
Calls him the devil.
Calls him the devil to his face this time instead of just saying it to other people. She sees a projection of her two other sons just drenched. And then she suffers a stroke. And from there on out in the show, she's in a complete vegetable state. She can't speak. She can't move. She's just there. She's alive, but she can't do anything. She's a complete vegetable type state. So in order for him to get that interaction from his mom that he's missing, he has Eve essentially play the role of his mother and has him tell him the things that he would want his mom to say to him after he's accomplished all these things.
Yeah.
And I think him needing that to that extent to where he would resort to that, I think says a lot about his need for that relationship with his mom, despite how messed up the relationship is as a whole when you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it shows, I think, his willingness to just completely deny the truth and kind of escape reality still. Because at this point, he knows exactly how his mom truly feels about him. She told him to his face, and it was very blunt and very direct.
And what else did she do?
What else did she do? What you thinking?
She stabbed him.
Damn, she did. She sure did stab him. I don't know why I don't know why of all the other things that happened in that scene that slipped my mind, but she sure did stab him.
You know why? Because that hurt him the least out of everything.
Everything else that happened. Like, honestly, like the word, I could see the words she was saying to him had more impact than him being stabbed.
And you know, that scene made me, again, I already thought his relationship with his mother was weird. How it was weird. Mm-hmm. Especially once we seen the flashback as him as a kid.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't want to say it yet, you know, because little boys love their mothers. But when we seen that end scene with Eve, and like Farhan said, you know, he's like, tell me this. And at first when he first says it to her, it's just like, oh, tell me, you know, I did good or something like that. So I'm like, all right, whatever. But then he starts saying all the things that his mother told him, and he's like, tell me this, say this, tell me I've been a good boy. And I'm like, okay, this is a little what's the nigga that said every boy wanted to fuck his mom? Sigmund Freud?
One of them.
Y'all know who I'm talking about, but I always said that nigga was crazy. That's not true.
Yeah.
In this case, it might be true because, again,
he had a very obsessive relationship with
this
her.
Is a prostitute, somebody that you fucked, and
you're having her play your mother.
And one thing we didn't mention, Eve was in the same dress that his mother was in when she took him to the nightclub where she was going to have him killed.
That's a great point.
when she was dancing with him, and he's like, "Mom, I'll take care of you." She's like, "I can't do this alone." That same dress Eve was in. And again, the first time I'm watching, I'm like, thinking nothing of it. And as soon as he started telling her to say those things, I'm like, that's the same fucking dress.
Yeah.
So again, Farhan said, they both knew this entire time that he killed his brothers. He knew, she knew, but neither one of them said it. They're in a very toxic relationship that they should not be in. And he should have been dead. Let's go there.
Yeah, it's there's Oz, a few things that were very apparent in this episode to me, just through all of Oz's relationships, not just with his mother. His mother is different, obviously, because he has a deeper connection with her, but all of the relationships he has with anyone, there's always a way where he's like, how can this benefit me? Mm-hmm. And once it's no longer benefiting me, I no longer have use.
Getting rid of it.
Yeah. And his mom obviously was different because he had a deeper connection with her. But even in that relationship, he kept that going because he was getting something out of it. And his care for his mom was only to keep her going so that she can fulfill that purpose that he needs for her to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing I've noticed about Oz as a character, and his selfishness came out in this episode more than it had, I think, in a lot of the other episodes this season. But I don't want to harp on his mom too much because that can be a whole episode of itself, just how deep and weird that relationship was.
One more thing I want to say, though.
Oh, no, yeah, go ahead.
Before we move over from his mother, because you are 100% correct. It gets into a whole therapy type thing, talking about his relationship with him and his mama.
He needs help.
But because earlier I said, you know, he wasn't selfish. It wasn't him being selfish, but even the fact of him being this big time guy, was about him. It was never about his mother because they were getting by. His mother was working. You know, she was getting money from Rex to do his books or whatever she was doing. And they were getting by. They weren't super rich, but they were getting by. And Oz wanted that power. Oz wanted that control from the moment he seen Rex.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he like, shit, I could do that. We
Yeah.
already know he didn't like his brother's relationship with his mother. He's possessive.
Yeah.
So again, it's all about him. Even him wanting to be this big shot, it's about him. It was never
Yeah.
about taking care of his mother.
Yeah.
And like Farhan said, we see that when they're threatening to cut her fucking finger off, and he's like, "I don't know what the fuck you talking about. You
Yeah,
lying.
like
They're
still
making
playing
shit
dumb.
up, ma."
Like
You know,
still playing dumb. It's like, dude, it's too late for that. Yeah, absolutely. I think another thing in this final episode that I thought was key is and I'll get to Vic later, but I want to focus on Sophia.
Rip.
Because rip. I think Sophia's story arc, I'm two things that I'm very happy about. I'm glad they didn't kill her off. I'm so glad they didn't kill her off. And I will admit I was wrong because I thought the only way to make Sophia work as a villain in this show is to make her worse than Oz. Or what you could do is make Oz the worst one because he's the Penguin and he's an actual villain. And you can still make Sophia the sympathetic character while still technically being the show's antagonist. And kind of use her as a way to continue other stories in Gotham that I think are going to play out. And you saw that at the end when she gets the letter from Selena Kyle. I don't think that was by accident.
We talked about that too. I said, I don't know if I said it, you said it, but we hadn't heard it.
You said like, where's Selena Kyle? Yeah, so I think that Sophia's story arc is going to continue on, and I think that she's going to be used in a way to help push not just her story forward, but the story of other Gotham characters like Catwoman. I think Sophia's story arc was a little tragic for me because even throughout all of episode 8, we've seen her do a lot of messed up things.
She did some fucked up shit. She's not a
good person. Yeah, she's not a good person. I'm not trying to say that she is, but on the scale of characters that we have available to us in this show, she was the person that you could feel the most sympathy for.
No, she's not.
Between her and Vic.
Okay.
Definitely
Vic, though. Definitely Vic.
Between her and Vic, those are the characters you could feel the most sympathy for. But she is a very close second. Show.
You are correct.
Yeah, between her and Vic. I think kind of going through this episode, there was a part of me that was, because I like I said before, I was waiting for there to be a shift to where Sophia becomes such a terrible person that despite how bad Oz is, you need to take her out because she's a problem. That didn't really happen. Like, they had her still do villain-esque things, but don't
do that. No. Don't do that. Yeah. She didn't do villain-esque things, nigga. She did villain things. She blew up a fucking city block, bro. Come on.
She did blow up a city block.
She kidnapped the old lady and was threatening to cut her fucking finger off. She's full on villain. She's a
villain.
She's probably the lesser of the two evils. And yes, again,
definitely lesser of the two.
I'm gonna let you finish your thing about her because she did some fucked up shit. Where go ahead, finish.
Yeah, she did villain-esque things, or not villain-esque. She did villain things. The reason I say villain-esque things is because the motivation behind her, I guess, evil doings was different. Like,
her motivation was different.
Yeah, she was seeking vengeance versus like just I want to have power over Gotham and I will screw over and lie to and kill whoever I have to do to get there, regardless of who they are. That's not really where she was coming from. She was coming from the perspective of I've been wronged, and if you're one of the people who've wronged me, I'm going to do whatever I can to get my get back.
Now, hard stop.
Okay.
And I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
She didn't stop wanting to run the city until she couldn't.
Yeah.
When she realized that she didn't have Maroni's support, she didn't have the drugs, she's like, fuck it, that's when she decided she didn't want it.
She's out, yeah.
And she did the one thing I wanted to say, which I told you I wanted to get back to, so that's why I'm glad you brought this up. She told them when she had all the bosses gather, he said, "Who want this house? It's all yours. Who want this territory? It's again." if you're leaving, the territory is up for grabs either way.
Yeah.
But she burned the fucking house down.
I knew she wasn't gonna keep her word on that because you're not handing over. I don't care how much you hate your family, you're not handing over that property to someone else.
You don't want it,
Yeah.
and that's honestly what cost her in the end. That need for revenge. Again, like we said,
because she could have walked away at any point.
She got most of her revenge to begin with when she killed her entire family.
Yeah,
you know, and then she's still saying, you know, I want to kill Oz, whatever. She needed revenge. She needed to want to kill somebody. If she would have killed Oz, it would have kept going. She would have gotten worse. I think she definitely would become a worse person than Oz. But her need for revenge, because she could have just left fucking town.
And her need for revenge is what got her back in the situation she was in. Absolutely. Because there were several moments where she could have just packed it up and walked away. And she refused to, because like I said, that need for revenge kept fueling her and kept fueling her actions. And she, for whatever reason, just couldn't just go, you know what? I got most of the people who got over on me. This one dude keeps evading me. I done kidnapped his mama. I done did this. I done did that. The boy's still here. So at this point, clearly he sees I can get to him, but clearly all my attempts to get at this man is not working. Let me just go ahead, take my ball and go home and just leave Gotham and go start a different life. And she didn't do that. She was so hell-bent on revenge, and like you said, that ended up costing her in the end. But like I said, the reason I view her differently than Oz is because I don't think if Sophia hadn't been wronged in the way she was, I don't think we see this version of Sophia that we got in this show.
No, not at all.
Exactly. I think we're getting this Oz regardless.
Again,
and that's to me the difference in those characters. Like, I don't think Sophia at heart Sophia is evil. I think she starts to do evil things because of how she's been treated, and that's her reaction to those things.
Again,
I don't think she's inherently evil.
I'm gonna say she's, because everything she was doing before, she was already gonna take over her father's family.
Yeah,
if you let her. Again, they're not doing anything good.
Right? So I'll give you this. Here's my rebuttal to that real quick. So when she found out her father was murdering all those women, what was her reaction to it?
Yeah, she wasn't on board with that. But she was only not on board with it when she started putting the pieces together about how her mother died.
Might have been one, yeah.
So again, this has been a thing with Gotham in general, bro. Gotham's a fucking cesspool.
Terrible. You know, like, why do people live there? Like,
and I'm about to go on a tangent real quick, because one of my friends said something on Facebook. He said, you know, I just thought about how Bruce Wayne has these billions of dollars and he fights crime instead of giving to the community. And I told him, I said, yo, man, Bruce Wayne has community centers. He has hospitals. He does so many programs with his money. Look at half of Batman's rogue gallery. They come from old money. They got PhDs.
Mr. Freeze is not dumb.
It's rare that you get a Batman villain that's like, oh, I was down on my luck. The one person that you get that's really down on their luck is Clayface. And it's crazy because he wasn't always down on his luck. Most of the time, he was a famous actor.
Yeah.
And then he was trying to do this. Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes he's an up and coming actor who tried to do this. Mm-hmm. You know, so again, none of these motherfuckers is down. All his point I'm trying to make is all his villains are terrible people. Yeah. Sophia, I'll give you where she isn't as bad as the other bad people that we see in the show.
Yeah.
Because again, she did, but she only started to. Well, even the fact that she met with the reporter.
Yeah.
You know,
that in of itself to me says a lot. To me, that says a lot that she even was willing to do that. I think she has a moral compass and a line that she's shown she's not willing to cross. That I think the other people in this show have shown they're willing to go way past.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I want to say women and kids, but when she set that bomb off, it don't tell her who was there.
That one I give you.
I will agree with you.
Yeah.
You know, we have seen that she's very sympathetic to women.
Yes.
She's very sympathetic to women. I don't think, outside of that bomb, I don't think she killed a single woman.
Arkham.
Oh, she killed one woman.
She did.
But
Killed the fuck out of her.
I'm not giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I'm gonna say that, that's when she definitely had a mental break
Yeah.
and snapped.
That was one situation. She shouldn't have did that, but
She
it's
shouldn't have
like
did it at all.
you just found out your life is over, and then this girl won't shut up, and you just snapped. I was like, you shouldn't have did that, but like,
listen,
I can't blame you for crashing out in that situation.
I be at work and motherfuckers be talking to me first thing in the morning, and I kind of understand.
It's like, you know what? Like, if I just found out that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life in an insane asylum, and my father put me here, and he's also the person who's gonna make sure I never get out
and kill my mama,
I might crash out too. Like that's a reasonable crash out.
So
that's a reasonable crash out.
Outside of her, she didn't kill any women, and she did a lot of killing. Again, going back to Vic's friend that got shot in the face.
Yeah,
nigga was just there, and he was saying, "This is what I seen, man."
Yeah, I'm giving you the info you want.
Like, you want? Why am I dead?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I went on like two or three different
no, right fair point though. I think because it shows like once again you're right. Sophia's not a good no one, but like I think that's the theme of this show. There's not a single good guy in this show. There's not a single character in the show that you go and look and say he or she is a good person.
Absolutely no one.
There's not a single character in this show.
The only good person left the show. She got on a bus and went to fucking California. That was the only good person.
If you want to count Vic's girlfriend or Vic's family, sure, but they're not in the show.
No, they dead. His family dead. I'm talking about old girl. Yeah. She was the only good person in the show.
In the show, facts.
That was a part of from beginning to end of Vic's story with the penguin.
Yeah.
She was the only good person. No one else in the show has been.
Yeah.
No one else did any good deeds. Even when you look at the fucking city councilman.
Oh, he used to work for Falcone. Like, what do you mean?
Right. But he only turned the lights on because he was being threatened.
Forced to. Yeah, he was being threatened to.
Which is crazy because that's saying they had the ability to turn the power on
and just
in this neighborhood and chose not to.
This says a lot. It says a lot about where Gotham is at. But I think we've touched on two key characters so far, and I've been spared. Well, actually, one more thing I want to touch on with Sophia before we move on, because it was something I was kind of trying to figure out. When Penguin wins, the Triads kidnap Penguin. The Triad underboss kills the boss. Everybody turns on Sophia. She realizes, oh, I'm cornered. This is over. Oz drives her out. She thinks that she's about to die. Gets arrested, and you see that Oz's BS story that he fed the councilman worked,
which was crazy because the councilman knew though. He said
he knew that was BS.
He said it. He said, "Is any of that true?" And he said they'll believe what you tell them to believe.
Yeah. So and it's like this guy's already morally corrupt if he was part of the whole renewal thing. So pretty easy person to manipulate, especially if he's getting something out of it. I will say, once we get to her in Arkham and she gets the letter from Selena Kyle, I was a little confused that Rush was the doctor that handed her that.
I was not a fan of that but again, he left. He said that he quit Arkham.
Yeah.
And I don't think they said that the doctor. They never said anything about the previous doctor either. They didn't say he died.
They haven't said anything.
He retired.
About him.
Anything, or we missed it. And if they say, I'm gonna say if they said it, it was very brief.
And we missed it. Yes.
Yeah. So, but they didn't say anything. So the only thing, nigga got his job back quick as hell. And why are you delivering mail, sir?
Yeah, that's what kind of threw me off. I was like, wait, so he's back at Arkham now? Like that. Maybe he, tried to get back on the inside to protect Sophia. Maybe that was his motivation for going back to Arkham. But I thought that was very interesting that he was back there and now he's the one delivering mail to Sophia. But hey,
he's a weird nigga.
Yeah.
Yeah. You fell in love with this girl in prison. I'm sorry, you fell in love with this woman in prison.
In an insane asylum, not just any
prison. In an insane asylum prison. You quit your job because you didn't like seeing what was happening to her. Which is crazy because you believed her. You didn't believe anybody else. But you quit your job. You show up when she gets out. to help her with whatever that is. We know what your game was, bro.
Yeah.
And
It
then
must got some power. It's gotta have some power. It's gotta have some power. It's
and
got
then
to.
you become her sex toy. Then you become somebody that helps her. But then again, you go back to that same job that you didn't like because of whatever, so you can be around her to see her. Like you said,
It's gotta be
have some
crazy.
power.
It's gotta be crazy.
Yanking.
It's gotta be nuts. That shit gotta be out of his world. The way she got that man acting, I ain't gonna
But
lie.
I think again it goes to another. I'm about to get into my my gender studies and women's class bag right here. It just goes to show like really it was only one man in her life that didn't fuck her over, and that was her brother.
Yeah.
Every other man in her life fucked her over, including her father. And Rush.
That's huge.
Yeah. And Rush is really his is still kind of on the fence because you was watching all this happen.
Yeah, Rush did though. Like Rush did, and now he's trying to make up for it on the back
trying
end.
To make amends.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can't even really put him in there because you was right there along with them when she was getting tortured in Arkham. So
it was only her brother, and everybody else fucked her over again.
Yeah.
Started with Oz, then her father, then Oz again, then Oz again.
Yeah, it's mostly just Oz. A lot of Oz.
Oz ain't give a fuck, bro.
Yeah. He single-handedly broke that woman twice. That's
Bro,
nuts. Like he mentally broke her twice.
I ain't gonna even hold you up. Honestly, I blame them at this point. I can't even blame the nigga.
Why y'all keep bringing him around?
What J. Cole say? What he say? Fool me one time, shame on you.
Fool me twice, can't put the blame on you. I'm just saying, like
you shouldn't have let the second time come around.
Like
y'all fucked up.
And the crazy part is, throughout the show, all the characters make it apparent Oz is someone you can't trust. They beat that point home.
Everybody says it.
Every character beats that point home. So the fact that y'all still continue to work with him, you're right. At a certain point, I'm just like, at a certain point, there's like personal responsibility has to come into a play here. Because if you know this person to be non-trustworthy, yet you keep working with them, and then they show themselves to be non-trustworthy, I don't know what to tell you. You knew what you was getting into.
Even the police officers that have little to zero contact with him know, like, oh, he's an opportunist. He's going to do this. He's going to do that.
Yes.
I mean, again, and if this was a Red Pill podcast, and we be sitting here saying, pick better niggas. Please pick better niggas. Oz is the nigga you should not be picking, and I'm talking to the criminal underworld. So y'all understand when I say niggas, I mean anybody you doing illegal business with at this point.
Find somebody who is. Granted, there's not going to be a lot of trustworthy people in that life. Right?
I mean, but
don't find the person who you know is out to fuck people over. Like, come on, bro.
Over every single person he's ever. I'm not even gonna say work with, because he didn't work with his brothers. He fucked them over, fucked his mom over by killing his brothers, fucked his mom over by not telling her what happened, fucked his mom over by not going to get his brothers, which she makes a point to mention. He could have done something to stop that. Did not.
Yeah.
Again, he fucked over all those people in that neighborhood. I mean, we're not gonna say all of them, but the people that was working for him. When this nigga decided to take his fat ass and start running and not saying anything to anybody.
Didn't say a word. Didn't say a word.
After they risked their lives to save him, he does not give a fuck. He is the worst. He's the worst human being that we're going to see, that we've seen so far, outside of the Riddler. I forgot this.
And I'm glad you said that, because that leads me into my next point of him being a terrible human being. So we've touched on Sophia, we've touched on his mom, two people that have been victimized by the actions of Oz. One person who I did not anticipate to be on the Oz victim list was Vic. I really was not anticipating him being on that list. I will say, I didn't expect him to wind up dead.
I thought you said that originally, like he was gonna finish the job.
I thought Vic was going to morph into something a lot darker because of Oz's influence and maybe straight from the pack.
I said he was gonna die. He's gonna finish
Maybe.
the job.
I thought Vic was going to become, because I was paying a lot of attention to when Vic killed
Oh boy.
Old Boy, and Oz told him it gets easier. I thought that was going to be the start of Vic killing more people, and I thought he would get more comfortable with it. I thought it would start to become a thing where it wasn't something that he felt any emotions towards anymore. And if you have a dude named Victor killing that many people, it just made sense in my head that he would eventually become Zaz. Obviously, that's not happening because the nigga's dead.
Or so we think.
No, man, look.
Listen, this is comics. I don't care that it's live action and they're trying to be feet to the earth, grounded. It's still comics, bro.
In most instances, I would agree with you. This is a gritty, grounded, so to speak, as grounded as a universe like this can be, where you got a nigga dressed up as a bat beating up people with his bare hands. As grounded as that universe can be, Batman. So I don't view a world where they bring Vic back. Plus, it takes the impact of that scene away.
It really does. But that shit was, God damn.
Because I will say that the way that I'm going to take you through how that scene progressed for me. So obviously, Oz gets the news that his mom's in a vegetable state. He snaps on the nurse. Vic puts his arm on puts his hand on his shoulder as he's crying next to his mom, and he realizes that he's never going to get that confirmation or that reconciliation with his mom. His last words his mom's ever going to say to him is, "I hate you, you're the devil." That's the last. This is the last words he's ever going to hear from his mother. So him and Vic are, sitting out drinking, sharing stories about struggles and how hard their life has been. And Vic starts to, get vulnerable and open up to Penguin a little bit. At this point, definitely wrong move. At this point, I'm thinking like, okay, so, this is kind of, it's not really where I was expecting it to go. I was kind of expecting Vic to stray away from the pack, but it looks like their relationship is going to be getting stronger after this. I knew something was probably wrong when Penguin turned and looked at him and then put his arm around him. And I was like, huh.
What did he do before that? Because when Penguin kills him, he's that whole little dialogue that he has after that. When he said he's like, "You're my family." Something like that.
That was it.
That's what secured it.
Yeah,
that's what secured it.
Yeah,
because like you said, as soon as same thing, he put his arm around him.
I was like, he ain't about to do what I think he's about to do, is he?
I thought he was gonna stab him up.
Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna choke him. I thought he was gonna. Yeah.
And then I was also hoping as he was choking him, because that was the long. He was like it wasn't much effort in that choke.
It wasn't. I was like, Vic, you can't get out of that.
I'm like Vic can't
hit the nigga in the throat or something.
And then I'm like, I thought Vic got his gun still. Shoot this nigga. Something.
That's another good point.
I'm looking for Vic to do something.
Yeah.
But again, Vic is too fucking trusting, because how do you trust a nigga that was just about to shoot you in the face?
Yeah.
And from the first episode.
Yeah. The Vic is definitely too trusting. I think one thing about Vic that I noticed throughout this show is he carries a lot of trauma with him, and he's looking for any outlet he can to kind of escape from that and feel a little bit more of a sense of confidence and just a sense of security. And I think Oz provided that for him. And because of that, it kind of blinded him to the dangers of being with this person. Because if I, just in real life, let's just go out of the Penguin show for a minute. Just in real life, if you knew a person in real life to where everyone else around them separated themselves from this person, you will look at that nigga a certain way.
Bro, it's not even that other people do it. Vic has seen him.
Yeah, fuck people over. You've witnessed it yourself.
He has firsthand knowledge of him fucking people over.
Like in real life, if you knew somebody like that and you watched them do other people dirty, you would distance yourself from that person.
And I want to speak on what you just said. You said like the trauma thing, because we know he lost his family, and that was hard for him. You know, that's who he was with all the time. His family and his girl. His family dead. His girl, who he wasn't answering her calls for 3-4 episodes, which still doesn't make sense.
Odd. That was odd.
Still didn't make sense, but she left him, and she wanted him to come with him.
Yeah.
Granted.
Which he should have did.
I'm gonna say he left her.
Yeah, because I'm about to say
Um,
she didn't really leave him.
yeah,
She wanted him to come along.
he left her to build a family with Oz. Pause. And but but you said Oz gave him confidence, and I don't know if you've seen we didn't see his stutter as much, especially episode 8.
It started to die down as the episodes
It
go
died
along.
down a
Yeah,
lot, especially when
yeah,
he gave that whole little when the trucks pulled up
yep.
for as his backup. When they
Hmm.
pulled up, and he gave that whole little speech when they
He
like,
ain't
"Shit, we
stuttering
about to
once.
go." He ain't stutter at all.
Yeah.
You know.
They like threw it in there a little bit here and there
Yeah,
just to let you know he still got it,
we
but it
got
was
it,
not
but
nearly as bad as it was earlier in the season. You're right.
yeah.
It started to die down a lot. I
I
think,
just wanted to touch on that part about,
yeah,
like you said, him getting Oz gave him that again, something that but again, Oz is a con man.
he is. He's
He
a
want
master manipulator.
he wants you on his team. He wants you to be as good at what you're doing. He wants you to support him. Perfect what you just said. He's a master manipulator, bro. Not
Hmm.
even just a con man. He's a con men are manipulators, but he's also a manipulator, bro. Like
Like
he's fucking
habitual manipulator. He
if
can't
there
help
was
it.
if there was an Olympics for manipulators,
Gold.
Oz got gold,
That boy
bro.
Michael Phelps.
It's not even close. He's great. He's great at it.
Yeah.
He's great at it. He got Sophia to from not trusting him at all to bringing him in on her whole operation,
Knowing she can't trust him though. That's the crazy
knowing she
part.
can't trust him. He got Vic to believe. He got Vic from, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to murder you. Like he told him, like, shit, it's easier for me
The
if I just
smart
kill
play for
you.
me is to kill you right now. Like,
He got this motherfucker to not only work for him, but to really like again when Vic decided that he was gonna stay and he came back, he saved Oz's life.
yeah.
He got him to risk his life for Oz multiple times,
Yeah.
and it's Vic's still an idiot for doing all this, but that just goes to show like his manipulation is fucking god
It's
tier.
top tier. Like it's and it to me what kind of fascinating to me is the different ways he manipulates people, right? Because it's
Yeah,
never just the same way
never the
every
same.
time. He figures out different pressure points depending on who he's speaking to. And like I mentioned, I think in a previous episode, sometimes he'll use the truth to manipulate people. He did
Hmm.
that with Sophia multiple times of, you know what, you're right. I didn't know your pops was gonna do you like that. I messed up. I should have. Well, the whole time I'm only saying this to get you to let your guard down.
Yep.
I don't genuinely feel this way, but I'm using the truth so that you feel like I'm
To
being sincere
disarm
right
you.
now when I'm really not, and I'm using it to disarm you. He has so many ways of just getting people to almost like turn off their judgment and forget that they're talking to somebody who is a known liar and a known master manipulator and a known con man, someone who everyone in the Gotham underworld knows as a person they can't
Literally
trust.
everybody.
Everybody and their mama knows you as a person that they can't trust, yet you keep convincing people to trust you. That is his superpower.
Again, the
That's his
triad
superpower.
underboss. When
That's
he
his
first
superpower.
met this man wanted to shoot him. He
Like it's
again he
nuts, bro.
disarmed him. He
Yeah.
got him to bring him to his boss.
Yeah.
We gonna work together. Then he brought them back around.
Yeah.
He got them back when they decided, hey, we're not doing business with you.
Hmm.
He pull up in a pickup truck with some cold brews. He give him a
Yeah.
nice little speech. Again, like you exactly how you said. You gonna let them? They gonna do this to you? This we are from the bad side of town. These
Hmm.
over the bridge motherfuckers. You gonna let them
But
do
they
this to
owe
you?
money and and they mansions and you think they
Yeah.
think they're better than us and he knows the right things to say all the
What do
time.
he do with all the people in the crowns? He told, hey, bro, I got this money.
Yeah.
I got this money. I'm gonna turn the
Yeah.
lights on. I got this. I got that. He knows exactly what to say to manipulate people. Again, when he went to the prison to go meet with Sal for the first time, he brought that ring, gave him
Yeah.
his ring back. He said Sal. He had Sal before Sal knew he had him because when
Yeah.
he told everybody, he said, "Oh, they found out. Oh, well, you got the ring, so they ain't gonna believe you anyway."
Yeah. Yeah, that's real. I mean, I think that throughout this show, I've realized kind of just how calculated in every aspect that Oz is, and we've seen that obviously throughout the show. You know, his planning, his ability to have foresight and think things through and execute, even though there was always bad luck. I think that that really culminated in this final episode where the plan was executed damn near flawlessly. This was really
Yeah,
the first time where he put a plan together and no
and
hiccups
everything
happened.
worked.
Everything worked out to perfection. You had the Godfather murder montage. You had him getting Sophia locked up. You had him getting rid of Vic because he doesn't want to have anything. Which I think him killing Vic was kind of a double, right? It was him being selfish and choosing his own self-interest, but in a weird, very sick and twisted and demented way. That was also his way of showing he actually genuinely
Cared
cares
about
about
Vic.
Vic, and he knows that that is a sign of weakness for him. If I
Cause
genuinely care about you, I'm going to go out of my way and do things that probably aren't within my own best interest to make sure you're okay, and
and
I can't have
again,
that right now.
he said that. He said,
Yeah.
you know, when that's why I said when he said when he called Oz family, I
Family,
said that's nailed in the
fatal last
coffin.
words.
Because he said family, is a strong thing, it's a powerful thing, but they can use that as a weakness. They can use it as a pressure point.
Yeah.
And what I want to say to that, which brought me back around, which when I seen it, I'm like, yo, this is nuts.
Yeah.
When his
Nigga, I was
mother
shocked.
went down, this
Mm.
nigga ripped the fucking chair apart. So
Nigga went from
again,
penguin to kingpin.
exactly what he said.
Yeah.
It's a powerful motivator.
Yeah.
Whether it's for you to be this or be that, or if it's
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you to do this by taking again. He was ready to give up his whole business when or not really ready to give up his whole business, but they found out where it was at this point,
And he took them there.
and he well they the other people didn't know.
Yeah.
The Gigantes didn't know.
Yeah.
Only Maroney's guys knew. And
Maroney's
They
knew.
was
Yeah.
they was
Yeah.
all dead at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So he when they called and said, "Hey, we got your mama. You want her?" He said, I give all this up. You can have me, this. But again, we know he was lying. That's why
Yeah.
it was a bunch of motherfuckers with guns hiding behind barricades to kill whoever got out of that car.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that one, they didn't kill the nigga that got out the car. He ran when he
Yeah.
ran.
He got on. He got out of there real quick. Ain't nothing happened to him.
So not only is Oz is a terrible person, but also the people that was working for him was kind of dumb because if me and you go somewhere, bro, that's kind of like the whole hey bro, they caught us. Like, no,
Hey,
nigga,
bro, they caught us. No,
you.
nigga, they caught you. Leave me out of it.
These niggas, bro, they hear him yelling, "Hey, what you doing? What's going on? Hey, where you going?"
It's like if you see him running out of there.
And they stayed there and did nothing. Then they got up. They're like, "Hey," so they're yelling at him. Oz, everything good?
Yeah.
My nigga, go see.
Yeah.
This nigga's quiet as a mouse. Nigga, soon as I don't hear you say nothing. So first of all, when I heard you say all that shit, and I'm sorry, I'm going back to episode 7 at this point. But
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it
I went back
paints
to
the
episode
picture.
7.
It paints the picture.
Yo, what the fuck are we doing? And again, like I said, he's great at. I don't even think I was on the point. I think you was on the point. We was talking about his manipulation.
Yeah.
I was talking about how he manipulated people that worked for him.
Yeah.
My fault, bro. You know how about that just go.
But no, it's very. I think all of that really paints the picture of who Oz is as a character. And
Terrible.
like what at every turn throughout this show, you find examples from episode 1 all the way up to now episode 8 of him using people and him abusing people's trust within him that he manufactures through his ability to manipulate. He's actually, I think, from this show, he's become one of the most compelling villains in this entire Batman universe that they've created. And I so badly in Batman 2 want to see Batman whoop his ass. Like now I actually have a vested interest now in Batman 2 and watching Penguin get his ass whooped, which I probably wouldn't have had that strong of a conviction to see that had this show not happened. So knowing at the very least, we know Penguin is going to be in Batman 2. Colin Farrell has confirmed that much. So some elements of this show are going to be in that film. And I personally, I don't give a damn if the main villain is the Court of Owls, Mr. Freeze, Hush, whoever the hell it is. I need you
Penguin to get his
to
ass
put.
whooped.
I need Penguin to leave with some bruises and broken bones
Somehow,
before
some
we
way.
get to before we even get to whoever the main villain is. I need Penguin to get handled because I'm not going to be satisfied unless I see him get his ass whooped. Now
I
that's kind of where
think,
I'm at with it.
and I'm really, I really don't have much left. I'm gonna keep my same ratings for both everything. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing from this last episode that really kind of we didn't see an umbrella.
Yeah, I was thinking
Now
that. I
they
was
did
thinking
have
that.
him in a tuxedo with the top hat, which people call penguin suits.
Yeah,
So
that was. I
we
think that's the
there.
closest we're gonna get.
But
Yeah,
the umbrella
it's
is
very iconic.
it's iconic. It's
Yeah,
Penguin's thing. So that's the only thing I was kind of sad we didn't get to see the umbrella. But
maybe they're saving it for Batman too. I don't know. Maybe.
man, something needs to happen, bro. If we gonna
Yeah.
keep the Penguin, let's see again. But again, Riddler didn't have a cane either, so
Yeah, that
they
is also true.
they are
That
doing.
Riddler would have looked weird with a cane, though. I think that
He
would
would
have.
have,
Yeah, that
but
wouldn't have
hey,
worked.
but same thing. Like Riddler, his cane, he has a cane.
Yeah, that's an iconic part of his character, though. You're right.
Now where you right where the Penguin's umbrella is way more iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Riddler has a cane, but I don't know. I just want. I need to see the umbrella, bro. It don't even have to be a weapon. It could again, and it was still raining.
That's another thing. There were
This
so many
nigga,
instances where it would have made sense for him to have
but a
one.
nigga
Like,
have a umbrella. Even if
like,
he had pulled out an umbrella, then it'd be like a little, just cover the top of his
you know what I'm
head
saying? It
type
didn't even have to
umbrella,
be
bro.
the umbrella that weird, like the famous, infamous one. It could just be like any umbrella.
Come on,
like,
man. Give us
there
a
were so
little
many points
Easter
where it would
egg,
have
little
made
joke.
sense. Yeah, I'm with you 100% there. My rating is pretty similar to yours. For episode 8 in a vacuum, I'm gonna give it a 9. Actually, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. Because
That's
I
the first
think
time we didn't have the same rating.
yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because I think that the emotional scenes in there, especially between him and his mother, I thought those were very, very powerful, and I
Yeah.
thought that did a lot for the character of Oz and ultimately the transformation you see him make. Not necessarily transformation. Let me not say that. The evolution from piece of shit to more of a piece of shit that you see towards the end of the show.
To the toilet reservoir.
Yeah, to the dookie water, bottom of the barrel, scraping the sewage that you see
in an RV for 6 months.
Yeah, and it's hot outside. It's like 95 degrees.
Oh, shit.
Like that's that kind of transformation. And then also, I just lost my train of thought. But I think that those emotional scenes are very key. So for episode 8, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. The show as a whole, I'm gonna give it 9. I think this is some of DC's best work, at least from a live action perspective. This is some of DC's best work. And I'm very excited to see what Matt Reeves decides to do with this universe going forward. And if nothing else, man, I have to give a big shout out to Colin Farrell for his performance throughout this show. We spoke on it several times throughout our reviews of all the episodes, but he truly disappeared in this role, and to the point where unless you knew that was Colin Farrell, you wouldn't know. Like, unless you went into the show knowing he's playing Penguin, you're not gonna know it from watching his performance. And he
honestly, they could have swapped him out with somebody.
We wouldn't have been none the wiser.
Wouldn't have known. So prosthetics is good, but like his acting is what gives it his thing. And you know what? I just seen a clip today from Horrible Bosses, and Colin Farrell was the boss.
Yeah, I'm
like, I gotta go back and watch this now, because after watching this again, Colin Farrell has some hits, but he also got some misses. And I think this really highlights why Colin Farrell is the caliber of actor that he is, because it's not that he acts bad. He's a great actor. He just picks some bad movies.
Yeah, his agent don't be doing him favors sometimes, but they cooked with this one.
They fucking cooked.
They cooked with this one. They found the perfect role for him. And honestly, like, I'm to the point now, I really wouldn't mind Penguin being the main villain of Batman 2. I know he's probably not going to be, but I think they've built him up now to this point where I think it would make sense for him to be the main villain of Batman 2. And he's the Penguin. Like, he's an iconic Batman villain. He's the caliber of villain where he could be the main villain of a Batman film, and it makes sense. I just think that they're knowing the words of Matt Reeves, the director, saying he wants Batman 2 to be more about, deeper into the corruption of Gotham. There's only one set of villains. To me, that makes sense with that, and they kind of played on that a little bit in this show.
Somebody said it, but I didn't. I didn't really. I think that was somewhat of a reach. But
what was the reach?
Saying that the councilman line, like his part, him being in there, and the stuff that he was saying was like hinted.
No, I don't think there's anything in this show that hints directly at the Court of Owls, right? But I think the presence of the councilman is to indicate to the audience, like, hey, y'all, all that corruption y'all saw in
it's still here.
Batman, that's still there. And it may or may not go deeper than you think it does.
Yeah.
But you're right. There was no direct. I didn't really want there to be any direct mentions of the Court of Owls. I want them to save that for the film, if that is what they're doing. But I think the inclusion of the councilman was intentional. If that is the direction you're going, of, hey, y'all, just let y'all know all the corruption and the political, back and forth, the political corruption that you saw in the first Batman movie, that is still very apparent and a part of Gotham. So don't think that went anywhere. So I'm excited to see where they go with this universe. I'm excited to see what else Matt Reeves decides to do, not just with the Batman, but with these other spinoff series. We know that we're getting a Joker spinoff.
Are we?
They've announced that, yes. We're getting a Joker spinoff.
Again.
So
okay, so
I'm willing to give it a shot, though, after this.
Let me say what I was going to say first. Okay. I forgot when you just said the Joker thing. What was you just... he only used 2 pieces of blackmail information.
Yeah.
So he still got a whole binder full of blackmail information.
Yeah.
He used one on Vito or Viti. I don't know what I forget. It was Vito.
I think it was Vito. Yeah.
Anyway, he used his that he was sleeping with Brother Falcone's wife, which he died right after that, so he didn't use it that much.
Yeah.
But then he used it councilman's, and he didn't use that one till like episode 7 to get the power turned.
Yeah, he used that pretty late.
So so again, like you were saying, I think again, I would not like to see him as the main villain. I would like to see him in the show, in the next movie somehow. But I think he still has a lot of building to do for his organization. I don't know how this. They didn't give us a time frame from when he killed Vic to when he was in the penthouse either. So we don't know the time
how much time has passed. Yeah, because his mom's at the hospital at this point and everything. So there's been some sort of time lapse. We just don't know how long.
We just don't know how long. And then again, we know this show happened. 6 weeks after the. Or first of all, it happens immediately after the.
I say it happens pretty early. I don't think it's less than 6 weeks. It's definitely like less than a month after.
Yeah, because Falcone, Batman. It has to be the same. It has to be the next day Falcone died. It has to be.
Yeah.
So it happens immediately after the events of the movie, and so again, we don't know how they're going to do that. If they're going to say, "Hey, well, that was 2 years ago, and now Penguin is running this empire and this and this." I'm trying to find information to get him, but I can't because I got to beat up this motherfucker.
Yeah.
But back to what they working on. That portrayal of the Joker was weird.
We didn't really get a lot, so it's like it's hard for me to judge it because it's even so just how minimal.
What the fuck was that?
His appearance was very disturbing.
The Joker's a clown.
Yeah,
make the nigga a clown. We done had gangster.
Nothing can be worse than that, so I'm willing to give this a shot.
Joker.
Nothing can be worse than gangster Joker, so I'm willing to give this a shot.
We done had funny Joker. It's so many Jokers, and they've all been clowns. And I think
this seems more like just pure psychopath Joker, like fully unhinged, based on the very small sample size we got.
It was just weird. Again, I don't want it, but we know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna watch it.
We gonna watch it, especially after this. After this show, y'all
I'm
got me.
gonna watch it.
I'm with whatever y'all want to, whatever y'all want to produce. I'm with it at this point. After the quality of this show,
I hate that
honestly.
they're gonna do it, but I'm gonna watch it. Unfortunately, um, it's in my nature. I can't help it. I'm
No,
gonna watch it.
same here, absolutely. So yeah, y'all, that was our review of episode 8 of The Penguin. This show, like we said, has exceeded our expectations. Looking forward to not just the Batman 2, which I was already excited about, but
Yeah,
now any TV shows out of this Matt Reeves Batman universe, I am here for. Whatever characters y'all want to spin off, whether I agree with that character getting their own show or not, like Vito said, I'm going to at least give it a shot now
I'm gonna
after
try it out.
this. I'm gonna at least give it a shot, and I'm gonna go into it with an open mind because this show shattered any expectations that I had. But let us know you guys' thoughts. Do you think this show is as good as everyone says it is? Do you think it's overhyped? Let us know what you guys think. Always continue to like and subscribe as well. And until next time, this is The Real Fanatics. Peace.